let's head into some NWSL news for everyone. This is a little bit exciting. Who doesn't love a comeback, right? There's some interesting news out there that the Utah Royals could be making a return to NWSL, and it would be a matter of when, not if. The team was themselves an expansion side. They entered NWSL back in 2018 and were in existence through 2020. Quite frankly, we have to talk about all of it and include all of it. So they were a huge part of the 2020 Challenge Cup getting off of the ground, facilities being utilized in the Salt Lake City area. But after the conclusion of the 2020 Challenge Cup, then owner of the Utah Soccer Holdings Group, Deloy Hansen, was hit with a bit of a scandal for racist and sexist remarks coming out of the environments within Utah, and that sort of put things in motion for a sale to eventually take place. Now, the unfortunate side about this is when it comes to women's professional sports, that type of, in terms of time and patience, that type of grace is not typically afforded to women's professional sports in the way that maybe it was to their male counterparts in the MLS side. Because what recently occurred was the official sale. So what's going to happen now is that there's going to be new ownership in place with Ryan Smith and David Blitzer, who purchased the MLS side, Real Salt Lake. But within all of these Utah Soccer Holdings, that includes Utah Royals. So what ended up happening was, due to the backlash, due to the investigations, and due to the urgency of everything when it comes to making sure women's soccer is still sustainable in the United States, the team was ultimately relocated. So the Utah Royals roster went back to Kansas City and became Kansas City Current. And that's how they're going to be operating in 2022. But the branding, Utah Royals, all of the imaging, all of the rights, all of that stood within Utah Soccer Holdings. So with this current sale of the MLS side, that brought up a lot of questions about, like, hey, what does this mean for Utah Royals? And well, thankfully, it went in Utah. In an interview with the Salt Lake Tribune from Andy Larson, got a comment from Blitzer, said that, think it's the best way to say that from our perspective, that it's a function of when, not if, that they're at day one. But this has been an important item that Ryan and I have talked about a lot, and we're very excited to bring in an NWSL team back to this marketplace. So it just sort of feels like there's intention there.
Yeah,
there's intention for the Utah Royals to eventually make a return to the league.
Yes, I love this. I mean, when the sale was made on the MLS side, the fact that the first question, or one of the first questions, was, okay, what about the women's side? What about the NWSL? What are you going to do here? And David Blitzer, who owns other teams, he's actually part owner of the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Jersey Devils. So he understands the ownership world, we hope, and for the women's side. And then Ryan Smith, he is the other owner of the Real Salt Lake. He's a Utah Jazz owner. So they are other owners, and they have the money and they have the understanding of what it takes to run a group and be an owner of a group. And the fact that they are saying, yes, we want to be involved in the NWSL and we want to bring a team back here, is very, very promising. I mean, I'm going to be frank right now. If you were an owner in the United States and you even paid attention to sports, you knew what was happening throughout NWSL ownership throughout 2021 season. And that's pretty daunting to kind of jump into that and kind of muddy the waters and see if you can swim to shore through that sense. And the fact that David Blitzer was like, it's not a question of when, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when it's going to happen. And they have the possibility to do that for the 2023 season. But based on the interview and kind of the way Blitzer was chatting about this, it's more likely going to be in 2024, when they have a little bit of time to establish themselves and understand, which is huge, because that's another expansion club that could be happening. There's also rumors happening about potentially in the San Jose, the Bay Area. I know Austin really is looking to get an NWSL club, at least the fans there. They now have the MLS club in Austin that made huge splashes last year in the MLS season. So the growth of the NWSL, this is how it starts. And this is where it happens when owners like David Blitzer say, yes, we want this. We have the rights, and it's going to do great things for our city and even for the club overall in Utah. It's fantastic. We need more clubs, Sandra. To grow the NWSL, you need this. And that means more craziness, expansion clubs and expansion drafts.
Yeah.
I'm so
and I don't think it's like I don't think it's a bad idea to, have the concept of like, we're going to try to take our time with it.
Yeah.
Like acknowledging it in the sense, yes, this is a part of the plans, but it might not happen in 2023, where we want to have the time to make sure that we get it right, which I think is something that's also of equal importance. I think we've seen how a team can look when they have the time to do and put things together. We're looking at maybe a team like Angel City versus, a club like Kansas City Current, who are in the process of doing really great things, but they had to work on a very, very quick turnaround. Their whole inaugural season saw them in last place for all of the 2021 season. They had to operate under a temporary crest, and that was something that they were willing to do, which thankfully for them, because they kind of came in right in the midnight hour to sort of ensure that there was going to be a place for this team to be relocated to. And now in 2022, it sort of feels like, even though it's their second year in the league, it sort of feels like they're still kind of this new expansion side themselves with the rebrand and the new name and the new crest and logo and imaging and everything else. So I'm here for that. I like to sort of hear that, yes, that this is a part of the plan, right, for Real Salt Lake and Utah. But I also really like that they want to take their time with that. I think that's of equal importance. And I think it's important to note that the messaging is all kind of the same and the similar, no matter sort of who you're talking to, whether it is David Blitzer or Ryan Smith or even Trey Fitzgerald, who's the director of communications for Real Salt Lake, kind of echoing that as well and sort of saying like, hey, we want to take our time with this. So exciting. And again, just another thing that we're going to have to keep our eye on as, maybe 2023, 2024 comes closer for NWSL, but let's keep it in
Sandra,
NWSL.
I'm ready for 2022 because we have 12 teams in the NWSL. And the fact that in 2024, this is me being very ambitious, we could have 14.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself if the league actually finds itself with 14 teams. I want a healthy league. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want a healthy, sustainable league, not an overflowing. How do we get all these drips of seltzer back into the can type of league?
And keep the competition high. I mean, that's a huge part of it, keeping the competition and keeping the NWSL one of the best, most competitive leagues in the world. We'll see.
Yeah, no, we'll keep an eye on it for sure. I know the fan base out there was invested around that team. They had a lot of great numbers, a lot of great support, and it's a good market for women's soccer to sort of tap into talent out in the West Coast. So I'm sure that that community would love to see the return.
I saw some threads on Reddit that were like, as soon as they announce it, I'm repurchasing my season tickets. Like, I still have my old jerseys. I'm still ready to go.
That's great.
I mean, the people want it, and that's like huge, right? You have to build the team, and the people are going to come. But if the people are already there, that says a lot about the franchise and the location.
Two things. Love the energy. I love that people's reactions are this high about it. And also bless you for even going on Reddit. What is wrong with you? Stay away from that.